Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are here at the 7th grade camping trip, Scary Creepy Pasta, part 2, and I had to go a little bit back, so we are 6 seconds back. So let's get started.
Teacher's face. He was worried, but was trying hard not to show it.
Set up the tents over there.
The teacher pointed.
6 to a tent.
Jamie followed everyone over. The more athletic boys ripped into their backpacks and pulled out the canvas and poles. Someone handed a pole to Jamie, who passed it off to another boy who seemed to know what to do with it. Jamie glanced at the worried teacher, who was staring off towards a small cement structure.
Anyone need the restroom?
The teacher asked. Looks like even he was too scared to go in there alone. A few boys raised their hands and followed him there. Jamie looked on as the remaining constructed the tents. Someone took out a bag of beef jerky and offered it around. Thatcher took the second to last piece before the bag was emptied and passed to Jamie. Not wanting the spotlight on him, Jamie, embarrassed, pretended to take out a piece and put it in his mouth. Thatcher had noticed. Jamie, seeing this, was about to move away when Thatcher snapped his own piece in half and gave it to Jamie. Jamie nodded.
Thanks.
And Thatcher nodded back. Not a problem. Both their eyes were drawn on the restroom building. The teacher had gone in with the students, but no one had come out.
Where are they?
It was what they were all thinking. A lanky boy stepped forward, stating they'd be out in a minute. But they weren't. A minute became 5. One of them told the lanky boy to go check on them, but he wouldn't. He was too scared.
Chicken!
Not wanting to appear chicken, the lanky boy approached the restrooms. As he got closer, he stopped. The lanky boy gulped. He really didn't want to go in there, but he felt all eyes on him. So he edged forward, slowly, and went around the corner and out of sight. They all heard him yell that no one was in there. Puzzled, they asked if he was sure, but the answer never came. They called out his name, but there was only silence. Thatcher stepped forward. While he was nervous, he was the biggest of them. He told them that as a group, they should go in there together. They all agreed and approached the restrooms. But as they came closer to the entrance, a scared boy stopped, and he backed away from them, terrified. Thatcher knew they had to do it, so he told the scared boy to wait outside and keep guard. Then, together, they entered. A foul smell came from 2 nasty urinals. Jamie looked up to the ceiling where blood-red graffiti stretched across. R-U. A last letter was just a giant splotch covered up. The windows were cracked. Glass lay on the floor. Thatcher and Jamie looked in the cubicles, but they were empty. 8 boys stood in the restroom trying to make sense of it all. Thatcher had no desire to stay. He nudged Jamie, who followed him out the exit. But upon leaving, they froze. The scared boy who was guarding was no longer there. Thatcher turned back to the restroom. None of the other boys had followed them out.
Guys, come on!
But no one replied. Just there and then, Jamie realized he and Thatcher were alone. The eerie silence continued. After 5 minutes of staring at the entrance, determination gripped them. Together they were going to find out what was going on. Slowly, they crept in. No one was in there. It was like they just vanished. Nervously, they both walked out. There were some bags at the edge of the tents. Maybe someone left a cell phone. Jamie and Thatcher approached and rummaged through the backpacks. Jamie noticed something within the tent in front of him. He moved forward and bent down to get a better look. Suddenly, he realized he didn't have eyes on Thatcher. He spun around frantically. Thatcher wasn't there. He was so scared, he couldn't move. Then out of nowhere, he ran all the way back to the bus and then fell to his knees, gasping for breath. Determined, he left the bus and continued running up the road. He got to a fork. He had two options. Go the way the bus came back to the main road, or follow the sign to the Wildwood campground, where the girls' campsite was. He saw headlights from a car, and he ran towards it. As he neared, he came across a tow truck lifting a car onto its hooks. Jamie screamed for help as he ran towards the startled tow truck driver, who then ran back to his truck for his radio. Soon after, a sheriff's car rolled up, and Jamie frantically explained what happened. While sympathetic, the sheriff didn't exactly believe him. The sheriff suggested that they drive together to the camp. Jamie shook his head reluctantly. The sheriff didn't give him a choice. Jamie got in the back seat and they drove towards the camp. As they pulled up, wind battered the tents. Everything was the same as Jamie had left it. It was so dark around him. He knew whatever was making people disappear was hiding out there. He peered out the window as the sheriff got out to look around. The sheriff aimed his flashlight to the tent, and then to the restroom. Jamie begged him not to go there.
Don't worry. I have a gun.
And as the light from his flashlight disappeared within, it soon faded into complete darkness.
Come out. Come out.
But the sheriff didn't. He still waited.
No.
Nothing. His eyes lingered, but deep inside he knew the sheriff wasn't going to return. He had to get out of there. Jamie climbed over the front seat. The engine was still running and the keys in it. Jamie pressed down on the switch and locked all the doors. He reached for the radio,
Hello?
but only static and white noise came back. He hit another switch. The police siren wailed, and the blue and red lights lit up the campground. But still, the sheriff didn't come out. His eyes glanced at the keys. He'd watch adults driving for him. Maybe he could. He just knew he couldn't stay there. He shifted the car into gear. It shuddered, but pulled forward.
Okay, you can do it. Okay.
Adjusting the wheel, his confidence grew quickly. He drove, very slowly, but he drove away from the campground. As he got to the fork in the road, he noticed the tow truck still there, but there were no signs of the tow truck driver. He hit the brakes. Should he go to the main road or turn towards the girls' campground? The girls' campground was closer, so he spun the wheel in its direction. He came to the Wildwood camping sign. It looked like there was blood on it, but that could have just been mud. The blue and red lights flashing lit up the girls' bus, which lay seemingly abandoned. Ahead were several tents, but they too were dark, and there wasn't any sign of life. Jamie honked, then again, and again, but the girls' campground remained as quiet and eerie as the boys. He drove the car in a U-turn around a tree, and as the headlights again hit the bus, he suddenly slammed on his brakes. On the side of the window of the bus, in Sharpie, was, "Please help me." Jamie honked. He leaned forward, trying to get a better look inside the bus. While it was really dark inside, he could make out something, and it was moving. Whatever it was seemed to move down the aisle of the bus, and then his eyes locked onto the front of the bus. He was on the wrong side of the door, and he sensed he was about to see something horrific leap out from around the front. But nothing emerged. Hand smashed against the driver's side window. He shot out of his seat. The car lurched forward, driverless, as Jamie made out a blur of someone or something. But his attention shifted to the ditch ahead. He didn't have time to bail as the car tipped forward, rolled down into a small creek, and stopped suddenly against a large tree. Jamie's seatbelt tightened as he was flung forward, but the restraint kept him safe. His eyes shot to the back window as a figure jumped down into the ditch, and small hands wrapped onto the glass.
Let me in! Let me
The
in!
girl's voice screamed. He leaned over and hit the unlock, and she got in quickly.
The students, the teachers, they're all gone. They're all gone. They're all gone.
Jamie recognized her school uniform. She was from the girls' school. It sounded like what happened to him happened to her, too.
It happens when I look away.
Jamie knew exactly what she was talking about. Just then, Jamie noticed her red scarf. She was the girl with the red scarf from the bus. She reached into the middle of the car in the console and pulled out some handcuffs. She put the handcuff onto herself and then looked at Jamie. He knew exactly what she wanted to do. He handcuffed himself to her and they clicked the lock shut. For about 20 minutes, they sat there without talking, just keeping the other in eyesight. For the last 10 minutes, Jamie was trying to get up the courage to speak to her.
I saw you on the bus before.
I know, I saw you too.
How's your school?
It's okay. It's kind of hard to make friends, you know what I mean?
Yep, he sure did. It turns out her name was Eve, and she'd only been going to the school for a few weeks. Deciding to stay handcuffed in the car, they chatted through the night. Jamie found it really easy to talk to her. And as the sun started to rise, both tried to stay awake. But for just a moment, tiredness got to him, and Jamie closed his eyes. Suddenly, he realized his mistake. Panicked, he looked to his side. Eve was still there, asleep. He nudged her awake. Together, they climbed out of the sheriff's car and hiked back to the main road. A puzzled motorist pulled over and soon more police swarmed across the area. For the longest time, Jamie and Eve sat next to each other, insisting that no one remove the handcuffs. But when her parents came, there was no choice.